volume 110. Memtes, page 110, Memtes, Siman Lamed Beis. Halochem Moshe Sinai Shiu Tefillin Nitvorim Begidei Behemo V'Chayo Torim. That the gut that you stitch the tefillin clothes with, it has to be the gut of a kosher species, either a domesticated or undomesticated animal. V'tov Litvo Begidei Shor. The best to use the sinews of an ox, probably because they're the toughest. Let's see, Memtes. Gidi Beimo, Lokim Okev Shel Shem Levonim. He says you take it from the heel, because there the sinews are white. V'mein Koshim, and what about if they're very stiff? You know, you have to be able to sew them, they have to be pliable. Rachim Bavonim Achiosu Kipishton. They actually pound them with stones. It takes on the texture of flax. V'toivinosan, and they spin it. V'shosinosan, and they actually twist it. When you spin it, it has to be spun l'shmo. V'tefillin v'eli rabba prim godem fakmas. It's not so torim. Afil mevel streif shalom. It's no worse than the hide. Just as the hide of the tefillin, the leather, as long as it's from a kosher species, it doesn't have to be necessarily that it was shchita. Even though the animal died or was killed, the hide qualifies. Identically, regarding the sinews that you use to stitch it, could be from veil tray. For begidei shor, he said, preferably it should be the sinews from an ox. V'im ein lo yigach megidi behema dako. You should take it from a goat. Av mitmei afil b'devet posul, tzorchin im mutar litfor begid anoshe. Interesting. Whether you should use the gid anoshe. Because the gid anoshe, even though it's kosher species, but you're not permitted to eat it, even be slaughtered. He says he doesn't know. No, it's not. Still, I think because of representation of what it represents. The reason why, if you take a look at the Kli Yoker over there with the Gid HaNoshe, Alkein Lo Yichum Neyu Gid HaNoshe, after the Malach wounded Yaakov, injured him, and the Or Chaim HaKodesh, it has a very negative representation of the Gid HaNoshe. All the apikursis, all the heresy of Klal Yisrael to the future was as a result of that injury, the Gid HaNoshe, because the Gid HaNoshe affected Yaakov initially, that he couldn't, his reproductive system, the Gid HaNoshe. Gid HaNoshe, they say, it's the sciatica nerve. The sciatica. That whole part of the body became non-functional. He wanted to affect that. That was the whole concept. That was his objective. Okay, nun. Still, doesn't make a difference, but it's what it represented. Ein liknos gidim einu Yehudi. You should not buy these sinews or this gut from a non-Jew. Mishum d'chashinon shemo shel behemoth tmeihi. Because you can't identify. You have to believe him. You have to trust him, right? A non-Jew is not believed. So he tells you it's from a kosher species. Do you know it's from a kosher species? Mokom shein gidim tzum tofrin. Tzadrush, Arabic word. She'osim min aklaf achiztam lo gidim. Even though it's not made from gut, but it's made from the hide, from the klaf, and you take it and they spin it into thread and they use those threads. That's a bit the evid. Nun, the chashin davko shu holech leboti anochrim liknos v'em gidim. That's if you go to their processing houses, where they sell these sinews. And it's known, like it was known, the Hasidic Rebbe's. David, you staying? The Hasidic Rebbe's piece of history. They would only wear a wool tallis if it came from Turkey, because it was known in Turkey there was no flax. They did not plant flax in Turkey. Anywhere else, flax could have been processed in a way it had the softness of wool. And if you ever see a Turkish tallis, it's like crude and it's coarse. It's very coarse. For whatever reason, that's the way it is. Turkish talisa. The wool comes from Turkey. Okay? So he says that we say you're not permitted to buy the gut, the sinew from the goy. That's when you go to their processing houses to buy gam yodua shemiksim nochrim notim gidim behemoth tmei. It's known because some of the goyim, the sinews they have are from a non-kosher species. Let's say it's known. There's no such thing as anybody sells sinews, the gut from non-kosher beef, so there's no question. It's like in Europe, there certain food like bread they buy even without hefsher, because it was known that the ingredients was always kosher. There was other questions, recently, because they smear the lard, they smear the pans with lard. But outside of that, if they don't, you don't have to be concerned about the ingredients of the bread. The bread was definitely kosher bread in terms of its ingredients. Same thing. It's only because some of the non-Jews, they would have the gut, the sinews from a non-kosher species. Interesting. This is called kavua k'mechza mechza. In Holchem Acharov, if you go to them, if you purchased it elsewhere, you met them on the street. So we say called the Mishna Berura Tefillin. But if you buy it, it's like buying the non-kosher meat in the store. But if you met him in the market and he wants to sell you the gut, the sinew, you buy it because you go after rov. So called the Mishna Berura Tefillin. Unless in the market they have stores which also, so then that's the mokum kavua. This is only if it's not spun. It's not spun, you see, so that was the question. This gut, is it from a kosher species, non-kosher species? But what about if it's spun, then it has to be spun lishma, right? That's what we said before. It has to be made specifically, it has to be spun for the tefillin. Right? Non-Jew doesn't have that. It's like a guy writing a get we had earlier, right? But we say he doesn't have that in mind. Except the the question whether the gut has to be spun when it's spun into thread and then twisted into a multiplied gut, whether it has to be done lishma.
What about all the rest of the parts of the tefillin, the leather that's processed, also lishma?
Definitely. It's all lishma.
All lishma, everything.
The cloth has to be lishma. Everything has to be done lishma.
You can't just buy a piece of leather from a non-Jewish merchant.
No. Okay, so the Mechaber says, what happens if you can't locate the gut? He says he uses an Arabic word here that you could use. What they take the cloth and they cut it into thin strands and they spin it into thread and it's like a makeshift type of, but it's a thread. Betal dirush himchutim nasim in aklaf. B'mokom atchak shirle came the mino who, since it's of this kosher species, it's of the hide, hem kigid natzman ukshem litfor ben stam, and therefore you use that as the gut. Let's say you want to attach the various urios, the sections of the Sefer Torah also has to be attached with the gut. You can't use cotton, any other thread other than same thing. Achis damnu. When you come upon the gut, which is from a kosher species, you should untie it, undo it. Others, the argument of Mechaber, they say no, unless it's made of the sinew, it's not valid. That's lochem mishina, it's specifically a gid. Or who shuklaf? It's the hide. It's not the sinew. Leather has no relevance to sewing. So he says, since the many argue with the Mechaber, if let's say it's sewn together with the cloth, which was made into thread, you should put them on, but not without a bracha. Safi brachas. What about the intestines? They take the intestines and they use it as the gut. The halach mishina dafka gid has to be a gid. I mean, when they sutures, they use the gut, right, to sewing. But this is specifically has to be a sinew. The gut is not a sinew. Od kosu shein litfor begidi of tor. Interesting. Because the halacha is, if you want to use the skin of the Gemara says in Shabbos, the skin of a chicken, you can write the parshas on the skin of a chicken. Of course, it's a kosher species. Okay, but he says, but to take the sinew out of the chicken leg, because it's not clear what the sinew is, what's not. Beizin michutin, beizin breathing, because it's a question what's vrid is like a vein. Dana gidin binon, sinew and a vein are two different things. So he says on the chickens, it's difficult to know exactly what is what. It's known, turkeys. They have, it's interesting. Turkeys, I don't know this, maybe some of his farm when he reads that of shchit and of animals and also chickens and turkeys, all that. So he once told me that if you get turkeys, a turkey is a vicious bird. Remember these wild turkeys, they got just with their claws, they attack you, they could really lacerate you and really do quite a bit of damage. So they have them in these boxes, which have holes in it. Iron cages they put them in, and their feet, go through. They fall through, and they lash so much that they actually sever behind the knee. They sever the sinews over there. And the halacha is, we learned nail the trephus a little bit, that it causes the become a treifa. Those sinews by the knee is even by an animal, if it's cut over there. If it's above or below, but in the location we have all the nerves. It's called tzumas hagidin. No, it's a treifa. It's a treifa.
So that's a problem.
No, so they have to examine it before they slaughter the bird. They examine the joints over there to make sure they're not severed. But it's known the sinew of a turkey is it's very tough. Sometimes the drumstick of a turkey, you have with all the bones in there and everything else. It's really sometimes you have sinews in there also. No. We're talking about if it wasn't injured, the animal, the bird didn't. But he's saying over here, when it comes to birds, you shouldn't use the sinew of a bird because it's unclear what's the sinew and what's the vrid, what's the vein. Tzumas hagidin, that the tzumas hagidin, where all the nerves meet in that location. Okay. Yeah, but they're pretty vicious. Even the domesticated turkeys are pretty vicious. Who?
Instead of the eagle, it was going to be a turkey. It was overruled.
Yitfor shloshet tfiros b'chol tzad. If you ever take a look at the bottom of the tefillin, it's easy to see it. The 3 stitches on each side of the tefillin, which creates the square. V'chut ha'tfiro yesovev m'shtei ruchos. And he says the thread that you sew with. Whatever, we'll see. Because the Yavayer Chut Atfira Ben Chobais B'Dais said earlier that when you sew, inside the bottom, there's a hider. You separate the bottom, the stitch goes inside itself. Hago Biul Imlo also Rak Yutfiros Opochs Mizaino Nipsom. If you have 10 or less, you have to use one long thread, one long piece of gut to sew, to create the 12 stitches, 3 on each side. That's it.
When we buy for now, we have the hoop that goes into the bottom.
Today, if it's a quality pair of film, definitely. Which means that the thread, the gut they sew with, it goes in. Each bias is separated with the thread also. It's not only separate walls. There's a hider that even the gut should separate. It goes up the wall, comes to the bottom, goes up the wall, then over the top, then it pierces the wall, and then it goes into the joining compartment. That's a hider. He had that earlier. Okay, let's see what this is.